Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're not just exploring a fascinating topic, we're journeying through dimensions, testing the very limits of time, and discovering the profound power of human connection. And it's all inspired by one singular epic source.
Indeed. Our source for this deep dive is a really detailed story summary of the 2014 film Interstellar. And it's just a remarkable narrative, isn't it? It weaves together these incredibly complex scientific concepts with stakes that are just deeply, deeply personal. Gives us a lot to unpack.
That's right. So our mission today really is to distill the core knowledge, those scientific nuggets, and, the profound emotional resonance from this incredible story. We want to understand not just what happens in the plot.
Right, the sequence of events.
Exactly, but the why these events unfold the way they do. And maybe even more importantly, what it all means for us, for humanity and for these big ideas like time and love. So yeah, get ready to experience the universe one fascinating detail at a time.
Let's unpack this. Okay,
Uh,
so for anyone familiar with Interstellar, or even if you're not, the film kicks off with this really chilling picture. It's a dying Earth, just ravaged by these massive dust storms, agricultural collapse. I mean, it's bleak. What does our source really tell us about the societal and psychological impact of humanity basically regressing to pure survival? And how does that desperation really set the stage?
Well, what's truly fascinating here, and the source really highlights this, is how this grim beginning isn't just, a convenient setting. It's absolutely the catalyst. It's the engine for every desperate measure, every extraordinary journey that follows. You have to imagine a world where the sky isn't blue. It's just perpetually hazy.
Yeah, with dust. Exactly. Not clouds, but this fine, suffocating dust that just chokes the life out of everything. And, where all the incredible variety of human agriculture, everything we grow, has withered down to just one single tough plant. Corn.
Just corn.
Just corn. And this regression, this move back to a purely agrarian society, it highlights this sheer, almost suffocating desperation. It really suggests a world stripped bare of its technological advances, its scientific pursuits, even things like art and culture.
Right, because you can't afford them.
You can't. Humanity is forced to focus solely on immediate basic survival, day in, day out, the intellectual stuff, the creative endeavors that really define so much of human civilization. They're sidelined. They're even in some ways demonized in the film, in favor of just tilling the soil and hoping for a harvest that might not even come.
So it's not just an environmental disaster.
No, not at all. It's a profound commentary on humanity's priorities when we're pushed right to the absolute brink. When survival becomes the only focus, what really withers isn't just the crops. It's our very essence, isn't it? Our ambition, our curiosity, that collective drive for knowledge.
Yeah, the dust isn't just choking the planet, it's burying human potential.
Precisely. And it forces you to ask, do we lose that innate drive for exploration and understanding? Or does it just sort of go dormant, waiting for some desperate spark to reignite it?
And it's in this desolate, almost hopeless world that we meet Joseph Cooper. He's an ex-NASA pilot and engineer, but now he's just a farmer trying to scrape by, support his two kids, Murph and Tom. But it's his daughter, Murph, who's bright, intensely curious. She stumbles onto something really strange. She thinks their house is haunted.
Right, the ghost.
Yeah, a ghost that knocks books off shelves, leaves these weird patterns in the dust. How does this detail, which seems almost, whimsical at first, how does it become so absolutely crucial? What does it tell us about the kind of story this is?
It's absolutely crucial, you're right. And it's one of the earliest hints that this film isn't just a straightforward sci-fi adventure. It's something much, much deeper.
Yeah.
The ghost isn't just a whimsical element or, a simple plot device just to nudge the characters along.
No.
No, it's the first real, tangible hint of something profoundly beyond their current understanding.
Yeah.
It's like a subtle, almost intimate form of communication emerging from the very fabric of their reality. And our source tells us these patterns aren't random. Murph, she instinctively knows they're intentional.
Yeah, she feels it.
And it's Cooper, with his scientific mind, who eventually figures out, wait, this is binary code.
Yeah.
And that leads them to the secret, hidden NASA facility.
So this suggests, doesn't it, a guiding hand, some kind of intentionality right from the very beginning. It kind of blurs the line between the unexplained, maybe even the seemingly mystical, and something profoundly scientific.
So what starts as a kid's perception of a ghost? Exactly. A child's innocent, almost superstitious idea is actually a manifestation of incredibly advanced physics. It's a desperate cross-dimensional plea, really. And it highlights that sometimes the most profound scientific phenomena, those critical messages, they can appear in the most unexpected, even seemingly mystical ways, especially when you look at them through that unfiltered, curious lens of childlike wonder. It definitely sets up the idea that there are forces at play here that just transcend our conventional understanding.
Right. And that discovery, it's not just personal for Cooper and Murph. It literally unveils humanity's secret last-ditch effort for survival. Because at this hidden NASA facility, Cooper meets his old mentor, Professor Brand, and the stakes just, boom, escalate dramatically. Brand tells him the truth. Earth is doomed.
Yeah, no pulling punches there.
No. And he reveals this plan started years earlier, all thanks to a mysterious wormhole that appeared out near Saturn, believed to be placed there by, well, unknown advanced beings. This wormhole led to something called the Lazarus missions.
Lazarus, yeah.
Yeah.
Rising from the dead, essentially.
Right. 12 brave astronauts went through it, exploring planets in a whole other galaxy, and they sent back signals from 3 worlds that seemed, promising: Miller, Edmonds, and Man. Now, you mentioned the 2 plans earlier, Plan A and Plan B. What kind of ethical problems does the source point out when you have to choose between saving everyone currently alive versus just starting over with embryos?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the sudden appearance of the wormhole, almost miraculous, really, and these Lazarus missions, it signifies this desperate, almost spiritual leap of faith for humanity. It's a profound admission that, okay, our home planet is beyond saving. Our only hope lies in embracing the truly unknown, venturing into the absolute void.
A huge gamble.
A massive gamble. And our source outlines these 2 critical, starkly different plans for survival. And this is where the film's philosophical, the ethical dilemmas really start to bite. You've got Plan A. This is the grand one, almost impossibly ambitious. It's about preserving humanity as it is now.
Saving everyone.
Saving everyone. It relies on Cooper's mission, getting data to solve this complex gravity equation. If they solve it, NASA can launch this massive, self-sustaining space station, basically an ark, right? Carrying Earth's entire population to a new home. It's about saving existing humanity, every man, woman, child. It's a gamble on a miracle, really. A belief in our collective ingenuity, our right to continue.
Okay, so that's Plan A. What's B?
And that's Plan B. And it's,
Yeah.
well, it's stark. It's pragmatic. This plan involves sending frozen human embryos, a genetic bank, to a new habitable planet. The goal is to start a new, much smaller colony from scratch, almost like humanity hitting a cosmic reset button. This is about ensuring the species survives, even if the current generation, everyone alive now, is lost.
Wow, that's heavy.
It's incredibly heavy. And this dichotomy, it raises these immense ethical questions. Which plan offers true hope? Is the heroic but incredibly risky attempt to preserve everything we know, our history, our culture, our collective memory? Or is it the pragmatic, almost cold decision to sacrifice the present for a new, uncertain future? A future built from the ground up, without the baggage of a dying world.
One gambles on a miracle.
And the power of love, really, to find a solution. The other accepts a profound, almost unimaginable loss, just in the name of propagation. The choice between saving all of us or simply ensuring some of us continue, that's the moral heart of the mission, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Cooper, he's torn, isn't he, between this duty to humanity and his deep love for his children. But the situation is so desperate, he's ultimately compelled to pilot the mission. It's just an agonizing decision, and it leaves Murph utterly devastated. She refuses to say goodbye, and it strains their relationship right to the breaking point.
Yeah, that scene is heartbreaking.
It really is. And the weight of that choice, leaving his kids behind, it immediately adds this immense emotional depth to the whole epic journey. It transforms it, doesn't it, from just a scientific expedition into this deeply personal quest. For survival, yeah, but also for atonement, maybe? And that slim hope of someday making things right, of reconciliation. Okay, so let's talk about the crew. Our intrepid team aboard the spacecraft Endurance. We've got Cooper, obviously, Dr. Amelia Brand, who's Professor Brand's daughter.
Right, adding another layer of personal stakes.
Definitely. Then there's Doyle, Romilly, and these 2 really fascinating AI robots, Tars and Case. They set off, and they venture through the wormhole itself. What's it actually like, according to the source, to pass through something like that?
Well, the journey through the wormhole, as our source describes it, it's less about the intricate technical details of how it works. The idea is it literally folds the fabric of space-time, right? Bringing vastly distant galaxies almost instantaneously close. A cosmic shortcut. But it's more about the radical, almost instantaneous shift in their reality. It's a transition not just through immense space, but into a completely different set of physical laws, different perceptions. Imagine going from the world, even a dying one, to a place where space and time are fundamentally warped just by passing through this shimmering spherical anomaly.
Yeah, hard to picture.
It is.
Yeah.
And this immediate plunge into the extraordinary, it sets the stage for the unparalleled, mind-bending challenges they're about to face. And you mentioned the crew composition, including TARS and Case. That's worth noting, too. These AI robots, they aren't just tools.
No, they have personalities.
They really do. They become integral characters. They provide comic relief, sure, with their adjustable humor settings and dry wit. But they also provide crucial logical assistance in the absolute direst situations. They kind of embody the peak of human technological achievement, even as humanity is facing its lowest point. It hints at that blend of humanity and technology that's needed to overcome odds like these.
Okay, so they're through the wormhole. First destination. A planet where time itself becomes this formidable, terrifying enemy. The Endurance arrives at Miller's planet. It's a world covered in shallow water. Looks kind of serene at first glance.
Deceptively serene?
Very. Because here's where the laws of physics become just terrifyingly real. This planet orbits incredibly close to a supermassive black hole called Gargantua. And this causes severe time dilation. Our source explicitly states 1 hour on the planet equals 7 years back on Earth. So what does this profound distortion of time actually mean for the crew? Scientifically, psychologically.
This detail is absolutely paramount. It introduces one of the most profound and frankly devastating scientific concepts into the narrative,
Yeah.
and it makes it visceral. Time dilation, because of Gargantua's extreme gravity, it doesn't just warp their experience of reality, it fundamentally shifts the entire cost-benefit analysis of their mission. It means that every minute they spend down on Miller's planet, every step, every breath they take costs them years, decades even, of precious time with their loved ones back on Earth. Think of it like this, maybe. If you stood at the top of a really deep well and dropped a clock down, the clock at the bottom would tick just ever so slightly slower than yours because of Earth's gravity.
Okay, yeah.
Now, amplify that concept millions, billions of times near a supermassive black hole. For the crew, it means that while they might experience what feels like, say, an hour doing their survey, their children are growing up back on Earth, living entire phases of their lives without them.
Oh, man, the psychological toll.
It must be almost unbearable, knowing that time is slipping away so rapidly for everyone else, that every decision, every delay could mean missing decades of your children's lives.
Yeah.
It's almost unthinkable.
And they find out pretty quickly how bad it is, right?
They do. The landing party finds the wreckage from Miller's original mission beacon, and they realize, with this horrifying jolt, she probably died mere minutes after landing. Minutes. A stark, terrifying illustration of this temporal distortion. She arrived, sent her thumbs-up signal, and was likely hit by one of those colossal waves almost immediately. But at the time it took her signal to travel out, and the time the Endurance took to get there, decades passed on Earth before they even arrived.
And the waves.
Yeah, the giant wave that ultimately kills Doyle and severely damages their lander, it isn't just an action sequence. It's a dramatic, monstrous manifestation of the planet's hostile environment, directly linked to Gargantua's tidal forces. And the crushing, profound impact of this time warp is driven home when they finally get back to the Endurance.
Right, Romilly stayed behind.
Romilly stayed behind. And 23 years have passed for him. 23 years. While they experienced maybe, 3 hours? He's visibly aged. He's become this solitary figure marked by years of just waiting, studying, anticipating.
23 years alone on a spaceship.
Yeah. And that single specific detail powerfully conveys the crushing weight of their temporal sacrifice. It forces you, the viewer, to ask these important questions about the true cost of exploration, especially when time itself becomes this finite, rapidly diminishing resource. It's not just about fuel or supplies anymore. It's about the precious, irreplaceable moments of life itself.
Okay, so after that crushing setback on Miller's planet, their next hope lies on an icy world. But this brings a completely different kind of danger, maybe even more insidious. The crew travels to Dr. Mann's planet. It's this icy, desolate place.
It's like Hulk, basically.
Exactly. And initially, Mann, he was one of the original Lazarus astronauts. Hailed as a hero, he claims the planet is habitable. It gives them this glimmer of desperately needed hope after the Miller disaster. But what they discover next is, well, it brings this devastating internal threat to the mission, doesn't it?
It really does. This is where our source reveals this stunning, brutal betrayal. A moment that I think cuts deeper than any cosmic storm or gravitational anomaly. Man, this figure, lauded as a hero, a brave pioneer. They find him in cryostasis. They revive him. And initially, he seems to confirm his planet's viable.
Giving them hope.
Exactly. But the truth is, he faked his data. He transmitted false positive signals just to make his planet appear habitable, simply so he'd be rescued from his profound isolation and despair. And then it gets worse.
He tries to kill Cooper.
Yeah. In a desperate, almost monstrous attempt to ensure his own survival and escape, he tries to murder Cooper and steal his lander. He hopes to abandon Brand and Romilly and continue the mission himself, or maybe just get back to the Endurance. This is such a critical turning point, not just for the mission's survival, but more profoundly, it's this searing commentary on the pressures, the ethical compromises individuals might make when faced with humanity's absolute end.
It really challenges that idea of the noble scientist, the selfless explorer.
Absolutely. It challenges the assumption of scientific purity and altruism. Here was this hero, celebrated as potentially humanity's last hope, who just succumbed to fear, to selfishness, to self-preservation after years of unimaginable loneliness and the crushing weight of that mission. It forces us to consider the immense psychological toll. Years of isolation, the burden of humanity's fate on your shoulders, the slow erosion of hope, of moral fortitude.
So his actions are driven by desperation.
Desperate, selfish acts born of unimaginable stress. It demonstrates that sometimes the greatest threat isn't from the cold, indifferent universe, but from the darkness that can emerge within humanity itself when pushed too far. And his desperate attempt to dock his stolen shuttle with the Endurance
Ends very bad.
ends in a violent explosion, kills him instantly, and severely damages their lifeline, the Endurance. The near-fatal consequences for Cooper and Amelia just underscore how precarious their situation is now. The mission faces profound risk, not just from the cosmos, but from human frailty.
Okay, so their ship is severely compromised. Their trust is shattered. Cooper and Amelia Brand face their most perilous maneuver yet. This leads to something truly extraordinary, almost mind-bending. Despite the immense damage, they attempt this dangerous slingshot maneuver around Gargantua. Why? To reach Edmund's planet, the last potential hope.
Right, the third signal.
And in this desperate almost, it feels like a suicidal move, they jettison TARS, the robot, and Cooper himself into the black hole. The idea is to collect critical data and lighten the ship so Brand can make it. This feels like pure despair, or maybe ultimate faith. What's the thinking here?
It's definitely multi-layered. And it's a moment where hard science, profound self-sacrifice, and maybe an inexplicable guiding force all converge in this really astonishing way. It's a calculated risk, using Gargantua's immense gravity for acceleration. Think of it like a celestial billiard shot, right? Using the black hole's colossal pull to gain incredible speed and basically fling Amelia towards Edmund's planet, conserving what little fuel they have left. But it's also this incredible sacrifice. Cooper knowingly chooses to enter the event horizon, the point of no return, conventionally speaking.
Because normally that's it, spaghettification.
Exactly. The immense gravity would typically stretch and tear apart any object. But the source specifies the dual purpose here. One, collect that crucial quantum data from inside the black hole, data that's essential for Plan A, the long-shot hope of saving everyone back on Earth. Two, simultaneously lighten the Endurance just enough so Amelia, with her limited fuel, can escape Gargantua's overwhelming pull and continue to coming. Plan B, the embryo plan, on Edmund's planet.
So it's a last-ditch effort for both plans.
Precisely. What's fascinating here is that entering the event horizon, usually considered this definitive point of no return, becomes, for Cooper, a pathway to a deeper understanding. And that's thanks to the subtle yet profound intervention of something else. This isn't just an act of physics. It's a leap of faith into the ultimate unknown, driven by that primal hope of saving humanity, even if it costs him his own life.
And instead of spaghettification, instead of the expected death, Cooper finds himself somewhere impossible. He's in a tesseract, which is described as this multi-dimensional space created by advanced beings who are later implied to be future humans.
Yeah, bootstrap paradox kind of thing.
Right. And he experiences time as a physical dimension. He can literally see Murph's room, his daughter's bedroom, at various moments in her life, stretching out like a landscape he can move through. So how does this absolutely mind-bending experience finally clear up the mystery of the ghost that Murph experienced way back at the start? And what does it reveal about time and connection in this universe?
This sequence, it just fundamentally redefines the entire narrative, doesn't it? It serves as the ultimate aha moment of the film. It ties together all these loose threads in a way that's both scientifically audacious and just incredibly deeply emotional. The tesseract itself is almost incomprehensible, but the film makes it strangely tangible. Imagine, like the source suggests, a five-dimensional construct where time, which we experience as linear, always moving forward becomes a navigable landscape.
Like moving through different rooms.
Exactly, like moving through different rooms of a house, but each room is a moment in time. Cooper, as our source explains, can literally see Murph's room at various points across her timeline from her childhood right through her adulthood.
And this reveals the truth about the ghost.
It reveals the profound truth. It confirms that the ghost Murph experienced all those years ago, it was Cooper all along. He was there, in this hyperdimensional space, using gravity, which the film posits is the only force that can truly transcend dimensions and Morse code, tapping on the bookshelf.
Pushing the books up.
Pushing the books, manipulating the dust, communicating across these vast temporal and spatial distances. He was desperately trying to convey the crucial information she needed, the quantum data to save humanity. It signifies that love, that connection, it can transcend even the most rigid scientific barriers. It becomes not just an emotion, but a tangible fundamental force in the universe, the very mechanism for humanity's salvation.
Which raises huge questions about causality, right? Was he always destined to be the ghost?
Exactly. Was it a closed loop? Was Cooper always going to be the ghost, guiding his past self and his daughter, creating this paradoxical loop that ensures humanity's future? Or were these advanced beings, these future humans, subtly intervening, leveraging Cooper's powerful love for Murph to achieve what humanity couldn't do on its own at that point? It's a mind-bending concept that transforms the impossible into the inevitable. It suggests a universe where the lines between cause and effect, past and future, are far more fluid than we normally perceive.
And TARS plays a key role here, too.
Absolutely crucial. TARS, the robot who accompanied Cooper into the black hole, he collected the critical quantum data inside Gargantua, and he's instrumental in helping Cooper figure out how to translate that data and transmit it back to young Murph. And how does he do it? Through the one constant object linking them across all that time and space. Her watch.
A watch he gave her.
The watch he gave her.
Yeah.
It becomes this tangible link, the conduit for the information that saves the world.
Okay, so back on Earth, decades have passed. Murph, she's now a brilliant scientist herself. She's dedicated her life to solving Professor Brand's equation, driven by that message from her father. Our source states she uses this crucial data, transmitted through the watch, to finally solve the gravitational equation. This has to be the pivotal moment, right? The absolute culmination of everything.
Absolutely. This is the ultimate payoff for Plan A. And it's where all the disparate threads of the story, the relentless scientific exploration, the immense personal sacrifice, and that enduring, almost cosmic bond between father and daughter, they all converge with just breathtaking impact. Murph's scientific brilliance honed over decades of unwavering dedication.
And her belief in her dad.
Exactly. Combined with her enduring love and that almost stubborn belief in her father, it becomes the literal engine of humanity's survival. The watch isn't just a sentimental object from her childhood anymore. It symbolizes their unbreakable bond, and it serves as the unlikely conduit for this groundbreaking scientific discovery. It's such a powerful reminder, isn't it, that even the most advanced scientific solutions, the ones capable of saving an entire species, can be delivered through the most personal, intimate connections.
And solving the equation allows.
Solving the equation, the source explicitly states, enables humanity to finally launch these massive self-sustaining space stations, the very arcs needed to lift Earth's population off the dying planet. And fittingly, the main station is named Cooper Station.
In her honor. And her father's.
Exactly. It's the ultimate validation of Plan A. It demonstrates that human intellect, when fueled by that profound emotional connection and sheer determination, can literally move mountains, or in this case, entire populations, into space to find a new home. It's a moment of just immense triumph, showcasing the pinnacle of human ingenuity and resilience, a testament to what humanity can achieve when driven by its deepest motivations.
And now, finally, the long-awaited reunion. Cooper wakes up. He's on Cooper Station out near Saturn, decades after he left Earth. And the first person he sees is Murph. But she's now elderly on her deathbed. How does the narrative handle this incredibly emotional but also deeply bittersweet moment considering all the time that's passed?
It is perhaps the most poignant and emotionally resonant moment of the entire film. It brings the crushing reality of time dilation full circle. All those decades of separation, the immense sacrifice Cooper made, and the ultimate triumph of Murph's life's work. It all culminates in this deeply emotional yet undeniably bittersweet reunion.
Because she lived her life.
She lived a full, accomplished life. She became a brilliant scientist. She saved humanity. Cooper, by contrast, because of his journey through relativistic fields near Gargantua and the Tesseract, has barely aged. She experienced decades growing old, having her own family, saving her species while he experienced maybe only hours or days relative to her timeline.
That's just heartbreaking.
It's heart-wrenching. The love is still there, clearly, but the shared life, the time together, has diverged so immensely. And her final instruction to him, it's so powerful. She tells him to go find Amelia.
Go find Bran.
Go find Amelia Brand, who they now know has successfully landed on Edmund's planet and begun building a new colony. It speaks to the continuity of hope, doesn't it? The next chapter for humanity. It's like a profound passing of the torch. From the generation that faced extinction to the one that secured a future. And it's a clear directive for Cooper to continue the mission he began, not just for humanity now, but for that personal connection he still seeks with Brand.
It shows that love transcends even that time difference.
It really does. It finds a way to connect and guide across these immense temporal divides, even when time has taken its brutal, brutal toll.
So the film ends with Cooper basically stealing a ship, right? And heading back through space to reunite with Brand on Edmund's planet. It's a very open ending, full of potential. What does this final act really solidify about the film's core message?
Well, I think this final act solidifies the film's overarching core message, that humanity endures. We're driven by this inherent, almost unstoppable desire to explore, to connect, and yes, to love. Amelia Brand's success on Edmund's planet, we see her there. She started building a new settlement, confirms that humanity has found its new home. It's a beacon of hope at the very edge of the known universe.
And Cooper's journey.
Cooper's final journey isn't just a personal quest to reunite with Amelia, the last remaining member of his original crew. It feels symbolic, doesn't it, of humanity's ongoing venture into the unknown, a perpetual search for new horizons, new knowledge, new connections. It leaves us with this profound idea that even after saving itself from annihilation, humanity's journey of exploration is far from over.
We keep pushing.
We keep pushing. It's a testament to our insatiable curiosity, our relentless drive to push the boundaries of what's possible, and our deep-seated need for connection, for companionship. The ending suggests that even when we achieve a grand goal like saving our species, the human spirit just continues to yearn for discovery, always looking outward, always striving for whatever lies beyond.
Okay, so we've really navigated the intricate plot here. From that dust-choked Earth into the depths of a black hole, and finally to the promise of a new world. But beyond the epic scale, beyond the scientific marvels, our source keeps reminding us that Interstellar isn't just a science fiction epic. It's a deeply resonant story about love, time, sacrifice, and hope. How does the narrative bring these abstract themes but incredibly powerful themes? How does it bring them to life so powerfully, make them feel so tangible?
Yeah, this is really where the deep dive into Interstellar shines, I think, because our source clearly identifies these core themes as absolutely central to the film's emotional and intellectual impact. They're not just layered on top, they're integrated into the very fabric of the story.
So take love, for instance.
Okay, love. It isn't just presented as an abstract emotion. In Interstellar, it's presented as something tangible, almost a physical force, maybe even a fundamental dimension of the universe itself. Cooper's love for Murph is the core reason he goes on the mission. It's his driving motivation throughout everything. And it's that unbreakable bond, that intuitive connection that allows him to literally bridge the gap between dimensions inside the Tesseract, transmitting the quantum data that ultimately saves humanity.
So love can manipulate gravity.
The film suggests it, that love is a force powerful enough to manipulate gravity, a universal constant that transcends the known laws of physics as we understand them. It's a bold idea.
Okay, what about time?
Time. It isn't a constant objective thing ticking away uniformly. It's presented as fluid, relative, a reality that profoundly impacts every single decision, every relationship, every moment of agony or triumph. That time dilation on Miller's planet isn't just a cool sci-fi concept.
It's devastating.
It's the heart-wrenching, agonizing consequence of their mission.
Yeah.
It makes every second spent away from Earth this devastating loss, this constant ticking clock against their personal connections. It makes you, the viewer, feel the weight of every passing moment back home.
And sacrifice.
Sacrifice. It's embodied, obviously, by Cooper's agonizing decision to leave his children, knowing he might never see them again. It's seen in Amelia Brand's unwavering commitment to Plan B, despite the immense personal cost of potentially being humanity's lone Eve on a distant world. It's the very notion of giving up everything, home, family, comfort, potentially even one's life for the survival of the species. These aren't just plot points. They are deeply felt, painful choices.
And finally, hope.
And hope. Hope is the driving, relentless force that propels them forward, even when they're faced with betrayal, despair, seemingly insurmountable odds. It's the hope that pushes Cooper into the unknown of the black hole. It's the hope that keeps Murph working tirelessly for decades on that equation. It's the hope that Brand maintains for the future on Edmund's planet. And the narrative consistently grounds these huge abstract concepts in those deeply emotional human relationships, particularly that powerful, enduring bond between father and daughter. That makes them resonate on such a deeply personal level for the audience, transforming these abstract ideas into concrete, felt experiences.
It really is remarkable how a film can be so scientifically ambitious, grappling with these huge ideas, and yet remain so emotionally grounded. Our source also points out how the film explores these really complex scientific concepts: relativity, black holes, gravity, quantum mechanics. How does it manage to make these potentially overwhelming ideas not just accessible, but absolutely integral to the story's emotional core? Because it could easily have become just a lecture.
Yeah, and it avoids that beautifully. I think the film's genius, as our source highlights, is its remarkable ability to integrate these incredibly complex scientific concepts, not as mere exposition, not as background detail, but as critical plot drivers and, crucially, as deeply felt emotional experiences for the characters and the audience.
Like time dilation again.
Exactly. Kind dilation isn't just explained with charts or equations. It's experienced through the character's agony of lost years, through the crushing weight of watching your loved ones age while you stay relatively young. You don't just learn about relativity in an abstract sense, you feel the heartbreak of it.
And black holes.
Black holes aren't just cosmic vacuum cleaners in this story. Gargantua is this terrifying yet awe-inspiring gateway to a higher dimension, the Tesseract. It forces Cooper into a realm where the laws of physics are wildly different, leading to that huge revelation.
Gravity as communication.
Right. Gravity isn't just the force holding us to Earth. It becomes a literal medium for communication, a whisper across vast stretches of time and space. It allows Cooper to send those crucial messages to Murph by subtly manipulating the very fabric of reality through gravitational waves.
And quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics, which is often seen as this field shrouded in mystery and complexity, it becomes vital. It's the key to transmitting the elusive data needed for Plan A, the data hidden inside the black hole, the key to building the space stations that will ultimately save humanity.
So the science serves the story, not the other way around.
Precisely. This approach allows the audience to grasp profound scientific ideas, not through abstract lectures, but through tangible emotional and narrative stakes. The film doesn't necessarily ask you to understand every single nuance of theoretical physics. Right. But it absolutely makes you understand the consequences and the wonder of those physics. It encourages critical thinking about what we thought we knew about the universe. It blurs the lines between what is scientifically understood and what is still way out there on the frontier of human comprehension.
And that father-daughter relationship anchors it all.
It's the emotional anchor. It provides this relatable human lens through which we view these vast, often terrifying scientific realities. It suggests that even the most advanced scientific breakthroughs can be driven by the most fundamental human emotions. And maybe, just maybe, our ultimate evolution hinted at by those unknown beings being future humans might involve a profound understanding and utilization of these very forces, like gravity and love, that shape our universe in ways we're only beginning to grasp.
Wow, what a journey we've taken today. Seriously, from a dying Earth to the depths of a black hole and then to a new beginning for humanity. Interstellar truly lives up to its name, doesn't it? Exploring the vastness of space and, maybe even more profoundly, the infinite reaches of the human heart.
It really does. It demonstrates that even when we're confronted with seemingly insurmountable odds, that relentless drive for knowledge, the unbreakable bonds of family, and the profound power of love, they can transcend even the most rigid scientific boundaries. It proves that humanity's greatest strength often lies in its deepest connections, bridging these impossible gulfs of time and space.
Indeed. So as you reflect on this deep dive, maybe consider this. If love is indeed a force, as the film suggests, something that can bridge vast distances and different dimensions, maybe even a fundamental part of the universe itself, well, what hidden connections might be waiting for us to discover in our own lives? Connections shaping our past, maybe guiding our future. Perhaps the threads of fate, as they say, are woven by something far more profound than mere chance. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world around you.